Okay. I'd like to come back to some of the points you made, Rick, but first let me get to Raphael joining us out of Marseille. And ask whether you think it's fair for France to actually prosecute the entire Church of Scientology in this context.
I can't really answer this question because it's a trial that is in process, and I don't know the files, I don't know the evidence and everything. But what I'll be afraid of will be that how can I say the idea, the French idea that we make lists about sect or dangerous cults, and most of the time those big lists that are made by in the parliament are made only on the victims' claims. And the problem is that at the end we have kind of a distinction in France between what we consider as real religion and other religion that we consider as false religion that we call sect. And I don't know what will happen with Scientology. But to be fair, I think the trial will have to examine precisely the fact, and not based on the imagination of the horrible sect.
Okay, I'll let Jacques respond to what you said.
First of all, when this famous list has been set up, I was in the inquiry commission because I participate in the 3 inquiries and commission which has been set up by the Parliament. First of all, is because we are not judging what is a sect. We are unable to say what is a sect as such. But what we have been judging is the excess of sect, because every time they were breaching the law, there were claims against them that they were manipulating people, that they were trying to get their money, that they were...
I'm sorry, but
No, they're putting them into... They were putting them...
They were any...
Pardon?
In the list established by the Parliament from 1984, and the different list you had in the different cults that were in the list, you have some cults that have never broken the law at all. And
No. Hold on, young man. Hold on. I can tell you that in 1 or 2 cases, I myself defended one which has been listed in the list, and I would say it's more, let's say, an esoteric association, and what it wasn't a sect, but they are very, the list is very near what we call a sect, generally speaking. Of course. Don't go on this path, you will lose. Secondly, hold on. Secondly, I would say that we are just judging what those people have been doing every time to breach the law, either labor law, either social law, either fiscal law, either manipulating, abusing, weakness, and so on. The list is very long.
Raphael, tell us specifically what is not true about what
I'll just give you an example. Even in the discussion that you had in the media about the trial in Scientology, people were saying, what I call spiritual technology. In every religion you have prayers, you have kind of a spiritual technology to reach the aim of this religion. People will say, what is using Scientology doesn't work, do not work. Like these electrometers, I don't know, all these tools or these things do not work. But I mean, if prayer works or do not work. I mean, it's not our point to say if it works or if it do not work.
Rubbish.
It's a state of mind.
Rubbish.
I'll tell you what. Let me let Jens get a word in because he's been waiting to comment on some of the things.
I couldn't agree more. It's very important to distinguish between different religions, new religion movements, and criminal organizations. Fortunately, we know the answer to the question: is Scientology a criminal organization or not? The answer is yes. In Canada, the organization was found guilty of criminal libel. Casey Hill, a judge, was libeled viciously by the Scientology organization. The Scientology organization was found guilty. It is a criminal organization. And this is a trial of Scientology, not of every single organization on a list, although you seem to be much more interested in debating everything except Scientology.
Let me ask you something. When Jim and Tammy Faye Baker were found guilty of fraud, well, Jim Baker at least, found guilty of fraud and tax evasion in the name of his church. It didn't damage Christianity. When Jimmy Swaggart was also found guilty of lying to his, or defrauding his public as well, Christianity wasn't prosecuted for it. Why are the cases of various individuals under Scientology bringing the entire institution of that church into court?
Because the individuals are only carrying out the written sacred religious scriptures of the founder. The founder says the purpose is to make more money, make other people more money, make more money again, and help others as to make more money. It is not peripheral. Fraud is not written into the holy scriptures of Judaism, Christianity, or indeed Islam, but it is coercion is written into Scientology.
Okay, Rick Ross, is that true?
Yeah, I think that that point is well taken, that as opposed to the situation with the Bakers, where they were acting out for their own interests, for their own corporation, and did not really represent the widely held beliefs of Christians. In fact, they were quite controversial within Christian circles, including evangelicals. Scientology, though, what's going on in France right now is not an anomaly. It is not the exceptional circumstances of one particular leader of a branch of Scientology, but rather, as was stated, it is the doctrine of the church, the doctrine of Scientology, to push people along what they call the bridge through graduated courses and training and auditing to spend more and more and more money. And not only can it be hazardous to your financial well-being, it can in fact be hazardous to your psychological and physical well-being, as I pointed out before with the case with Lawrence Wallersheim and the horrible tragedy of Lisa McPherson.
Rick, let me ask you this then. Why does Scientology have such an influential following in the United States, while here in France it's viewed as this, cult-like network?
Well, I think Scientology began here in the United States, of course, in the 1950s. And though L. Ron Hubbard died in 1986, he left behind a residue of more than $600 million, which quickly was enlarged by the new leader of Scientology, David Miscavige, who achieved tax-exempt status with the church in the United States in 1992. So what you have is a vast empire, if you will, a spiritual empire of properties and money that no one really knows the full extent of. I would guess it's considerably more than the $600 million that Hubbard left behind, and it's fueled by money from celebrities like Tom Cruise, John Travolta, and others who give millions of dollars to Scientology to perpetuate its training and its courses. So what you have in the United States is a separation of church and state, and you have a protection of religion in such a way that the government is loath to infringe on anything that is deemed religious.
Okay.
And Scientology has frequently used that wall of separation to protect itself.
Okay, Rick, I will let you have the final word there. Unfortunately, we are just out of time for this half of the debate. We need to take a quick break now for the news, but we'll be back with more. Do stay with us.